with one of the most exciting sports in the world, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's really exciting. I have Paulo Polimeno, excuse me on how I said that. I hope I got that right.
Oh, you're perfect.
From Flow Martial Arts to come in and talk about the sport and the life of a BJJ athlete.
Welcome to the Body Science Podcast, bringing you everything you need, want, and should know about health, fitness, nutrition, and training. As always, the information contained in this podcast is for the information purposes only and is not designed to diagnose or be prescriptive to treat, prevent, or manage any injury, disease, or other health-related condition. Today's podcast is brought to you by Hydroxyburn Shred Ultra Nootropic Thermogenic. Shred Ultra is scientifically engineered to shred body fat, ignite metabolism, and boost all-day energy while enhancing cognitive performance, focus, clarity, and mood. It combines powerful fat-burning thermogenics, garcinia, green coffee bean, guarana, caffeine, and an industry-leading 4 grams of acetyl L-carnitine with potent nootropic ingredients at effective therapeutic doses to give you maximum results.
Welcome to Body Science HQ, the world of fit, happy and healthy. And today I'm going to add to the end of that a little BJJ. And with my mate Shmoo passing a few weeks ago, it's really nice and he just loved his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as much as he loved his surfing. And there's a connection there with these two sports, isn't there?
Yeah, that is. That's how I believe. That's how we create flow pretty much. We fully believe in that connection between surf and jiu-jitsu.
And is that why you've called it flow?
Yes, exactly. We didn't want to have like a heavy name or like those really like fighting sort of gym. I think it was perfect to combine both sports.
Nice. So let's talk about you. So for those people that don't know, you're classified as a professor?
Yep. Some people call me professor right now. Yep.
Yeah. Is that a nickname or is that something that's earned through?
That's something that through my grading now.
Through your grading?
I'm a 3-stripe black belt.
Yes.
So classified a professor now. I can start grade people as a black belt as well. So that's how the professor came from.
Nice. And you've been a black belt since 2008.
Yes, exactly. Time flies.
That's a dedication to sport. 20 years with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Which part do you love most, the competing or the teaching?
Now that I have my gym, I really enjoy the journey of teaching. Mm-hmm. But to be honest, I think the first time I step in a jiu-jitsu academy, everything I want is zone out and fight and like be on my quiet place, let's say. Yeah. So I couldn't think about my life or problems or anything. I was just like jumping those mats and having a good time. Now, after like open the gym, I need to start to see as a business, not as with the competitor eyes. And then it's been a funny journey. Like I've been learning a lot. Yeah. And then, I think I enjoy most now.
Yeah. And did you start jiu-jitsu in Australia or?
No, I started jiu-jitsu in 96 in Brazil. Mm-hmm. So, and it's been non-stop, since 96, that's it.
And what do you think the sport's growing beyond any expectation. What do you think it is about BJJ that makes it that sport that people all want to be part of?
I think there's not many sports out there then you connect the physicality of being an athlete with the thinking, the intellectual side of the sport. So jiu-jitsu is like very integrated, like it's hard to learn. It's hard on the body, but it's also hard on the head, full of strategies and like a play chess.
Yes.
You probably heard that before. Many people comparing jiu-jitsu as a play chess. And that's what I do. We combine like physicality with intellectual. So it's addictive, to be honest. Yeah. And it really relates to life, I would say, because it's a constantly battle to solve problems. Mm-hmm. So every time you're out of a funny situation or uncomfortable situation, your opponent coming through another one. So I think that toughs you up for life too, to like be calm and start respond better for situations that you might gonna come across in your own life. So I think that's what's fascinating people and it's growing so fast.
So you started your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu journey in Brazil. When you first joined is it called a gym?
A gym, yeah.
When you first joined your first gym, did you ever think that you would move to Australia and start Flow?
No way.
Yeah?
No, could never. I think I was taking opportunities that life was giving me.
Mm-hmm.
Never thought about it. Even when I decided to relocate myself from Brazil to Australia, I tried to enjoy jiu-jitsu as much as I could in Brazil, because honestly, I didn't know one person here. I didn't know if jiu-jitsu would be something that happened here.
Yeah.
So I was pretty much accepting, enjoying my last couple months in Brazil of like be full-on training before I moved here. Yeah, thanks God. Like all the universe started to drive me to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and that's how I got granted with my visa, and everything started to happen from there, like from my very first job, because when I got here in 2010. I didn't know one person. I couldn't speak in English. So it was like I wasn't even planning to teach, to be honest. I was just sick of Brazil, sick of all that family pressure to succeed, to find a profession, and like having my brother as like business person, cousins as engineers. I was the dark sheep of the family. So I think I was kind of running away like from my reality there. And then so many more opportunities here, people receiving me so well. And I felt comfortable to be myself, to be honest.
So why are Brazilians attracted to Australia? What do you think that is?
Well, I can say about from my end, I used to live in my city in Brazil is called Guarujá. So it's an island southeast of São Paulo. Weather is pretty similar. It's the lifestyle that we enjoy there, like the surf, the sun. I think it's becoming a very common destination for Brazilians.
Yeah.
I think I would say, I don't know, maybe 20, 15 years ago, I think America would be the American dream. California is already full of Brazilians, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
They took over already. But I think now like everyone's finding Australia as the new thing, especially in Brazil.
Yeah, that's great to hear. So just stepping back into the history of the sport, why is it called Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
So this Helio Gracie is our grandmaster, the guy who actually created Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He just adapted the Japanese Jiu-Jitsu and the Judo from his body type, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
He was a weak guy, a lean, 50-something kilos. He was struggling to fight any other martial art, and he ended up developing this different style, a bit more like leverage based and body postures, locks. And then, he adapted the way he could fight better and then end up creating Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
And is it purely the growth of the sport? I mean, you never hear it, and I'm not in the gym, but I hear about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu all the time. Like it's just a day wouldn't go by where I don't hear someone talking about it, or someone starting it, or someone's talking about a sore neck they've got from it, or they've got a little niggle, or they're trying to recover from it because it's impossible to recover from. And yet, like you said, physical and mental performance, I mean, that's a toll on your body. Why do you think the vision that you just spoke about became something that became so popular on the world map?
It's very challenging. I think it's kind of like a love and hate relationship, pretty much. So some days you go there and then everything works, everything's perfect. You tap in everyone, smooth as. Some days you go there and you get hammered. But you walk away with that feeling of, oh, that's not all. I need to come back. I need to come here and learn that. So I think that difficulties and how hard it is challenge a lot of people. And then people constantly coming back. I used to joke with my students, Jiu-Jitsu give you a reason to quit every single day.
Yeah,
so it's
nice.
like you're being twisted around, your body gets sore, you get bruised, you got a foreign sweat drip in your mouth. So it's like crazy.
Yeah.
But somehow we always stick together. We keep coming. And then suddenly everything starts to make sense. And as I said before, become very addictive. It's very common to see people starting training jiu-jitsu once, twice a week. And here down the track, they all shifted their life to be able to do 2 sessions a day.
Yeah,
so
nice.
I think it's getting very popular. It's getting very popular around girls as well. So yeah, it's a big thing in Australia, domestic violence. And I think girls now are getting out of the shell a little bit more and looking for this sort of help as well. So not just for the protection or the defense side, but also for the mind side, to be super comfortable, improve self-esteem, start to set boundaries in relationships. So I think it is a really powerful tool.
Yeah, we're seeing that in the fitness industry as a whole, like women throwing down, like they're just putting out, and what the girls are doing in the gym now is inspirational. You know, it's I would hate to have been an old school bodybuilding magazine editor in today's day, because you'd be throwing out who are we putting here, what are we doing, and the depth of male versus female, that whole the world's just becoming so unisex and like you said, in combat sports, in lifting, and it's such a good thing to see. And it would bring a whole new culture to your gym too, wouldn't it? You've gone from guys that want to kill people on the mat, like you talked about earlier, that's all I want to do. What you said? You said you had a nickname or something, or you had,
my dark passenger.
Get on that mat and just want to dominate too. And I'm not saying the girls don't want to, but they would bring a whole fresh culture of performance and that mental side to the sport, I believe, by having. And so do you have male and female train together?
Yep. We do have a mixed class, but you also offer a female only class.
Okay.
So I think the female only class is much more like an icebreaker. So if a girl doesn't feel right or comfortable to come into a mixed gender gym and then start to roll around with guys, so they start off training on a girls class. And then they start to actually, it's all right. That nothing nothing's wrong, not going to get worse than this. And they slowly start to jump in the mixed class. And then, we have fun together, start like choking each other.
Fun together, choking each other. I love it. Speaking of choking, let's talk about the hardship. What was for the young entrepreneurs out there and all this gen that is getting just, I mean, I'm old, I'm 50 odd, so obviously I'm established, my business has been around for 21 years. For the people that are just starting out, and you've come from a background where you earned your black belt early, you moved to Australia without speaking English, and you've got a business going now, and you rolled your eyes when you were talking about before because of the challenges. What do you think was the hardest challenge in your life, getting a black belt or running that business? And I'm not talking from an athlete perspective here. I'm talking for young humans that are out there that everybody wants to start their own business at some stage and have some type of drive. And I shouldn't say everybody, but the people that are driven like that want to do that. Do you have any message for them? Because you've kicked goals in all aspects of your career, from on the mat to owning the mat. Yeah, is there?
Oh, just believe in yourself. Like listen to your heart. Like so many people around you, even friends, are gonna tell otherwise. They're gonna tell you like, oh, you're crazy, or what are you thinking? But I think the fact of me being a black belt takes so long to get granted as a black belt in jiu-jitsu. It's such a hard work. I think I took that as the biggest lesson to put into entrepreneurship. I've been failing a lot. I've been losing money. I don't have a business background, and I've been learning a lot. And I think that the fact of being a black belt, it's tough me up for that. So I'm like okay with the failures, with the challenges, because that's what I did pretty much my whole life in jiu-jitsu. Like doing something wrong, getting beat up, turn up next day, repeat until the thing goes right. Might suggest for people who wants to do it, especially nowadays that jiu-jitsu is huge, find a space. That's it. Turn up, show your face, go to competitions, try learning, accumulating that as much as you can. And biggest tip, I would say, forget about your ego a little bit. Ego is good for an athlete. Like you have to have that little bit of a selfishness.
Absolutely, yep.
So you can perform well. But I think as we get older, you need to start shift that ego side a little bit. So that same ego that was firing you up can start pull yourself down as well. So you need to be very open mind, see things differently, and believe in yourself, because no one else will.
Nice. Do you think Australia is a great country for starting your own business and having a crack? Or
I think it is. Australia is amazing. I'm so thankful that I chose Australia. I was about to go London before, so it was a very wise choice.
Gold Coast, London.
Yeah, like two opposites. But like Australia fulfilled me with opportunities. I don't know if it was just lucky or I prefer to say I worked so hard until my hard work made lucky. I just crossed like good people on my way, people helping me in so many different aspects, like on a business, or even like getting me like furniture for my house when I didn't have any. Like this country is a blast. Like there's so much, I think it's so new, and then there's so much more to explore still. And I highly suggest, like if you want to start your business, Australia can like push you towards that for sure. Like the help the country gives is amazing.
Yeah, nice. Look, Aussies love getting together. We love chatting with each other. We love a barbecue. We love surfing. We love outdoor sports. Do you see what you've created with your gym and the community aspect of what you've done? Because I'm told you have an amazing community at Flow. And is that something that comes from your background, or is that plain hard work?
It's a mix, to be honest. Like we have that in our culture in Brazil. So you guys do have this a lot here too, like outdoor. I think the difference is in Brazil, it's a bit informal. Like people knocking your door without you wanna, and then that turn into a barbecue. We're not like you don't need to plan. Like you're chilling in your home on Sunday, two friends hook up, knock your door. What are you doing? Blah, turn into a party. I think that's our culture side. But I do have my beliefs that when your students or the community you create around you see how much passion you have, how much time you put, how much effort you put into that, I think they want to be part of that. I have students that I don't see them in a gym 2 or 3 months, and I reach over to ask if everything's all right. You want to cancel your membership? What's going on? They go, no. I'm still coming. So that gives me the sensation that person wants to be part of that community, even if he's not there all the time. Just to be like having his like name on a list, like as a student, he he's still feeling part of the community. And I think people, it's just like ripple effect. Like now it's passing forward. Like there's not many gyms out there that are friendly. So I'm super proud of my students, and every new face that comes to our door, we want to make sure they're super welcome. We introduce ourselves, we make them feel comfortable, and then it gives a good vibe. I think everyone loves it.
No. Is it a sport that young kids have jumped into?
Now it is.
It is, yeah.
I can say back in Brazil, the sport that's most common is judo. Like so all parents, they try to put kids in judo for the martial art side of the sport, like discipline, like all those rules. And because back in the time, we didn't have many jiu-jitsu class for kids. Okay. So jiu-jitsu is pretty much, Brazilian jiu-jitsu in Brazil was pretty much as adult sport. Mm-hmm. Now that's more popular. We become more professional. Start like got systems in place. Now became like a huge sport, even in Brazil. Here as well, like most of the kids been training jiu-jitsu. I think parents now know the difference between Brazilian jiu-jitsu and any other martial art. I think before, like as a parent, they bring it to taekwondo, karate, or whatever, as long as martial art. Yeah. Now they're being a bit more strict. Like, I want my kid to do jiu-jitsu. So it's a big niche. It's getting bigger and bigger, and I can see it's going to get huge in the next 10 years. I'm pretty sure it's going to be like compulsory in schools, like on police academy. So I have my hopes up.
Yeah. So. That's gold. So if I'm somebody who is looking for a challenge as a 50-year-old, is it a sport that I can take? Can I walk into a gym and start as a older pop and, sore knees, tight neck, all those type of things?
Definitely. Like, I like to say to every person who walks in there on that situation, like, don't try to turn into a world championship, world champion right now. Like, but we're going to respect your limitations. We're going to build you up to that training. And examples of that, like, I have so many guys on my age or a bit older, like on the 50s, middle 50s, coming back and thank me for bringing their childhood back, because they're like, oh, I found something that I had to stop playing footy. I didn't know what to do anymore. Now that same person is competing in jiu-jitsu because like there's no striking, it's a grappling. If your worst comes to worst, you tap and you're out of the fight. So I think it's giving them like reasons to feel a bit younger and rejuvenated a little bit.
Yeah,
so
nice.
I rather suggest, if you wanted to do your week trial, please come to see us. Like, I'm sure you love it.
That sounds good. So you mentioned competition a fair bit there. Is that a really integral part of the sport, is to compete against others? I mean, obviously the training and the learning the art itself, it's competitive in that space, but to compete against others, is that something that's a big part of it?
It's a big part. Like in my gym, we not force people to compete. Like we try to encourage at least once you jump there and feel it.
Yep.
I think the outcome of the competition is much more than the medal. Like for the ones who want to build a career as an athlete, of course, medal is going to be important, performance is going to be important. But I think that the biggest outcome is how you deal with. Like, you cannot sleep a night before, you get nervous, and then that's the biggest outcome for me. Is like manage your fears, like face your fears, put yourself out of the comfort zone, and be okay in jumping something that you cannot control the outcome. Even nowadays, I try to tell my students, like, I would love to win every single comp. I want to jump there and win every single comp, but I cannot control the outcome. Yeah. What I can control is I can prepare myself as best as I can, try to control my bubbles, like all those, my nervous system, and having a crack. And if I fail, so I'm going to get up and try again. I think that's the biggest aspect. I think if you can at least compete once in your life, like doing your jiu-jitsu journey, that's a good thing to do.
Yeah. Let's talk about we've chatted about competitiveness there. Like, how did your career go? Obviously, black belt in 2008, as we discussed. Like, what does that mean from a competitive perspective?
Jiu-jitsu started compete like in an early stage. Like, I was competing since my blue belt. Mm-hmm. So I think black belt is when you finally get to elite. I had like such good memories, like good friendships, like during the competition time. And for me, I think that drives me to train even harder. I think if I don't have the competition, if I don't have a fight upcoming, I have a bit of a tendency to slack myself a little bit, not train much. But I love it. Like, got so many like good titles, good battles. I had so many good friends out of those battles. We still like friends until nowadays, and still fighting against each other. Yeah. I have the privilege to see my friends now that we start together back in Brazil, living abroad, like Singapore, Portugal, and we all living from jiu-jitsu. We all make our living from jiu-jitsu, which is amazing. And I had a like good time in Australia too. When I came here, there wasn't many black belts around. Mm-hmm. So I jumped in like really good challenges, like fighting guys bigger than me, and did everything that I could, because I found that I could stay in this country, guarantee my visa as an athlete.
Yeah.
So then that was for me like a big injection. Like I was like, okay, motivation go up now. I can change my life competing. When I was competing before, I think it was much more like ego related, like it's selfish. Like I want to get the results. Up to my visa, I think it's still like had an extra pressure. I was like, okay, that's my chance. So I think that worked really well. And then after that, I think I was kind of relaxing a little bit, leave my ego aside, and okay, time to teach people, and then like let them do the job. Like, but it's hard, I'll tell you, because I tried to stop competing, like say, oh, this year I'm not gonna compete, and then suddenly I start like itchy and feeling doing it, and I'm like, okay, no, I'm fighting. So I don't know how long I'm gonna still fighting, but till the body can cop, I'll be there. I think it's a good way. I mentioned before, like how the importance of competing jiu-jitsu at least once. Nothing better to encourage your own students, by being there yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think leading by example is a good thing. So even if I go there and get smashed, I'm showing my students like, here you go, I'm here next day. So don't worry about if you're gonna get smashed in your comp. Like happened to all of us. So I'm still doing it for sure.
Nice. So it's fairly well known out there that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is one of the pathways to UFC success these days. I'd be correct in saying that?
Yeah.
And I mean, UFC is one of the better marketed martial arts around the world. Like it is dominating in all forms of media depending who's fighting, but where that's all at. Did you ever believe that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu would, when UFC, what was the first UFC called? It was called
Ultimate Fighter.
Ultimate Fighter, yeah. When that first came out, did everyone think that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu would be so dominant in the training of an athlete?
Oh, back on that time, probably the only people that would think that were the Gracies, because they shock the world. They turn up. I think, especially on that time, the UFC was like a mixed martial art. So people would come with different styles and then put on the table and see what style was the better or more efficient. And then was awesome for jiu-jitsu. Like those guys turn up, start to like tapping people out, like skinny guys beating huge guys. And then was a massive part of the improvement of to make jiu-jitsu what it is today. I do believe it. Like, no doubt, without UFC, jiu-jitsu wouldn't be this big. Whoever now, MMA become a style, I think. So if you want to be a MMA fighter, you have to train different styles. It's not anymore like, oh, I'm a Muay Thai guy and I'm going to jump in a cage and fight. So you need to have at least the minimum of your jiu-jitsu, understand a little bit of ground, and even for jiu-jitsu practitioners as well. Like we do have the jiu-jitsu, but in a cage, we're going to get punched. Like in jiu-jitsu comps, we don't. And it's making those guys now work the striking. So was good enough to like build jiu-jitsu the big how big it is now. But that's my opinion right now. MMA become a separate sport. But jiu-jitsu is a massive part of the training. So every athlete, if you're aiming to go jump in a cage and you start to train MMA, it's a must. You need to have the jiu-jitsu. I see there's guys pure like high world level in jiu-jitsu. They still present a really good show in a UFC, like based on jiu-jitsu. So I can give Demian Maia as example. He's a pure jiu-jitsu guy, and then he doesn't punch much on a cage. You see that, like he shocked the world. Like he looks like a snake wrapping the guy around. We had actually the guys from my city. We had the UFC last Sunday. Charles do Bronx is another Brazilian jiu-jitsu representative on UFC, and it was good to see them put a show on the table and show the efficient of jiu-jitsu. And those guys that actually doing really well in jiu-jitsu in UFC, they high level jiu-jitsu fighters. They're not just like they didn't start training MMA. They achieved so much on jiu-jitsu. And then they start to do a transition to MMA. So they top level jiu-jitsu fighters. But answer your question, everybody needs to put jiu-jitsu on the table if you want to jump in a cage. Yeah,
that's awesome. So let's get back to Flow Martial Arts. Whereabouts are you based?
So we have two locations now. One is in Coolangatta, like near the Green Mount, so Griffith Street. And the second one is in Kingscliff. So we two sides of the border now. We have Academy in Kingscliff, which is the newest one. We're there for a bit over a year. And surprisingly, the community it's growing, and we've been so the community is accepting us so well.
That's great.
And and Coolangatta is there. Like, I think we're never going to leave that spot. Like, I remember when I was thinking put a gym there, people were calling me crazy because it's a surf town. No one likes to work. Like, everyone was going to surf. And I had that little surf and jiu-jitsu connection together. In my mind, I was like, if 1% of those surfers join my gym, like,
absolutely,
it's gonna be good. So yeah, I'm happy that I chose that spot. Like, Stoke, there's not many jiu-jitsu academies. They have like a nice beach as a front yard.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good one, isn't it? So website?
www.flowmartialarts.com.au.
So all one word, flowmartialarts.com.au.
Yeah.
And do you have an Instagram account or anything if people want to check it out?
Yep. It's flowma_. So you can jump there, have a look, send us a message or navigate a little bit, see what we do in our gym.
Nice. And just in finishing, the community, like the Australia-wide community, when people are traveling, do they pop into your gym and have a train? Is it that type? Is it?
Yes. So we're friendly. We're open to visitors. So if you come from whatever, Melbourne or overseas, and you want to keep training, more than welcome. Just come see us. Especially in Coolangatta, is a very tourist destination. We have a bunch of people coming to like just visiting, have a bit of fun together.
Nice.
More than welcome.
Well, it was really great to talk to you. I've heard nothing but good things about you around the place, and it's really nice to come and talk to someone means a lot to me after my mate Shmoo, who you knew Shmoo as well, didn't you?
Shmoo, that shocked the community, the surf and jiu-jitsu community. Wow, such a nice guy. That I still can't believe it. Like, I close my eyes and wish he was here, like make that 1-2-1-2, having fun. So miss that smile around for sure.
Yeah. Well, rest in love, mate. And thank you so much for coming on. It was really enjoyable, and hopefully we can do more together.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. And looking forward for next ones.
That was great fun. And that's your first podcast. Well done. You did really well.
Thank you. Cheers.
Today's podcast was brought to you by our partners in Fit, Happy and Healthy, ASN, Nutrition Warehouse, DY Discount Vitamins, Fat Burners Only, Evelyn Faye, Mr. Supplement, or find a retailer online at bodyscience.com.au/retailers.